How's it going?
Good.
Good.
You know what? I think I'm going to do a story on a kid from Steele who's got his own Spurs podcast.
Oh, okay.
So I think what I'm probably going to do is probably combine, talk about what you do, along with what he does.
Oh, yeah.
Just kind of an interesting story. So
Yeah.
let me reach out to you and see if we can set up a time to talk.
Yeah.
I'll see about either coming to a game, contest, or maybe snap some photos here.
Yeah.
And then we can put the story together, right? Because I think you can't do one without the other.
Yeah.
It's my mindset.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, if I get everybody's attention, we'll get this started. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody for being here today. You know, to me, and I told this is the third time that we've done it. We haven't changed the signings throughout the day, but I've done a lot of signings in my life. I've been a part of a lot of signings. To me, this is probably the most special to me. And why is because it almost didn't happen. It almost didn't happen. There was a time that we thought we weren't even going to get to play. You know, when we got the word that we weren't coming back after spring break, everybody was like, oh, we get an extra day of spring break. Woo! We'll be back. And then next week, and then the next week, and then the next week, and then it looked like we weren't going to even be able to do it. So being able to be here today is a blessing. So don't lose track of that. And in order to be here today, there's some people we need to thank. You know, and we started with Ms. Seaver. I think she's here. I saw her somewhere. There she is. Part of our school board. Thank you. Dr. Ely, our superintendent. Thank you very much. Coach Whitlock, our grad director. Amy, our head principal. Thank y'all for allowing us to do what we do. And I also want to thank you guys as well. We're having sports at Clemens High School right now, largely because we didn't mess it up in football and volleyball. That's the truth. So, as hard as it was, we got to do it. And I knew if we get through football and volleyball, it gave basketball a chance. And if basketball can get through it, it's going to give our baseball and our softball a chance. And I mean, we're going to have wrestling, and it's different, but it's a chance to do what we love to do. And that's for you guys to get out and compete. It's been a crazy year, recruiting-wise, especially when it comes to the football part of it. You know, I felt bad for last year's seniors. I even feel worse for this year's seniors as well. They didn't get a spring ball. They didn't get to be evaluated. They didn't have summer camps. They couldn't have colleges all at their games watching them. They couldn't see them in person. Division I schools and stuff, they couldn't even get out yet, not till April. So it's been a tough year, but we got to do it. And so if you're, for those of us that are being able to celebrate today, it's a blessing. And if anything that I've learned through all this, it really reinstated it. I didn't learn it because I do it to anything. If you want to take something out of it, is understand this. Tomorrow's not promised. It's not. So whether you're sitting down here getting ready to sign, or you're up there and you got a couple more years left to play the game, tomorrow is not promised. Do not waste a day. Don't waste a day in the classroom. Don't waste a day in the weight room. Don't waste a day to tell your mom, your dad, your aunt, your uncle, your sister you love them. There's nothing promised. And we got to understand that. Everybody who's here today woke up and is blessed to be here because we were able to come and do what we're doing. So, yeah, it's different. Yeah, we don't have a packed auditorium like we used to do. Yeah, we only have 25% of our stadium games and this and that, but we got to do it. And it's one step forward. And the way you guys approached it, and the way you attacked it, I'm super proud of it. And, but I see I'm starting going and I'll be talking forever. Anyway, I'm sorry. I get on, that's just, these guys all know me, that's me. But anyway, thank you parents for trusting your kids with us. When they told us that we were going to allow them to be strength and conditioning during the summer and sports specific during the summer, you guys trusted your kids with us. And thank you players that are here today, players up there, for standing in line for 30 minutes to take a step, to take a step, to take a step, just to get into the football field, to do a workout. Thank you trainers. We have a trainer signing today, where's she at? Thank you for everything as well. They go through so much to help us in every sport. Coach Hosby and Coach Saunders preparing and helping us get to the point where we are today, and that's being able to celebrate these great young men and women that are moving on to better themselves educationally and academically and athletically. And we'll start with training with Ms. Saunders. Thank you. I talk a lot.
I'm gonna stand over here and take my mask off. But yes, Emily Smith is signing today, which is it's a first for myself and a first for Coach Hosby. You typically don't see this. Kids go to college and they do athletic training, but you never actually see a whole lot of kids receive a scholarship, and I'm not surprised. Emily basically created this for herself, so I'm going to brag a little bit. She's actually going to Dallas Baptist to become a physician's assistant, a PA, which is awesome, and specifically in orthopedics. And she was like, you know what, I want to do athletic training too, because that's something I've kind of fallen in love with. So she reached out to them, she got letters of rec for myself and Coach Hosby, and they obviously saw all the accomplishments on the pages and in the process in the emails, and they said, you know what, we want you to come here and we're going to give you money for it as well. So it's awesome. So I don't exactly have a bunch of stats, like she wrapped so many ankles and handed out so much. I don't have all of that. We didn't keep track. But, however, I do have a couple of things that I'd like to talk about with Emily, because I have known her my whole time here at Clemens. So this is my 4th year, or finishing up my 4th year, and I've known her since she was a little bitty freshman in my principal class that I was for health science. And I knew from the get-go, and I know Coach Hosby can say when she became a student trainer, how mature she was, mature beyond her years, almost to the point where I was like, you're a freshman? But my classroom, as well as her mother's classroom, became like a safe space for her, and she would be, before or after school, like a sponge, just trying to get all the information she could, anything, you know, to get ahead, or sometimes it was just study. And that's kind of how our relationship started, and I was truly blessed that she was put into my life here at Clemens. Like I said, she's going to attend DBU, major in bio with a minor in kinesiology. Again, looking to become a PA, a physician's assistant, specifically for orthopedics. I think that's going to go great with her student trainer background. Like I said, I've known her for 4 years. Coach Osby's known her for the past 2. She started off in HOSA, and in HOSA, for those who don't know, or maybe you do know, that's the group that goes with health science, and those kids pick a competition to do, and she picked sports med, and so it allowed us an opportunity to essentially train together, work together, practice together, and she just excelled with all of that. She's been a student athletic trainer for 2 years, and as seniors, we allow them to pick which sport they would like to kind of take over, and she chose boys soccer, and she's done well with that. I mean, I think they all basically think you're like their mom or big sister, because she does excellent with them and has really good rapport with our coaches. Emily just gets it. I could literally think she could read my mind now. She knows exactly what we want, what I need on the sideline. She's always, you know, essentially in my back pocket, asking what we need to do, and it's always for the better of the team. She's grown to be a great leader with our program, even just 2 years in the student trainer program. A lot of kids look up to her. She leads by example. She always it's easy for kids to talk to her. Even my own very children love her very much. She's become one of their favorite babysitters, and I know I can trust her. And I would hope that the younger ones that we have in our program aspire to be someone like Emily. We wish her all the best at Dallas Baptist. We hope that you visit. Don't be away for too long. We're definitely going to miss her. I thank Emily's parents for allowing us the opportunity to get to know her better and be a part of our program and be a part of our own personal life. So sign away, Miss Emily Rose, as I like to call her, my Emily, and we wish you the best next year.
So congratulations to Emily Smith, signed there to Dallas Baptist University over in Dallas, Texas. As we look at the information about the school location, Dallas, Texas, enrollment is 5,319 according to 2015, as we hit on some of the high spots of her career here at Clemens High School. 4-year HOSA member, the Health Science Department, 2-year student athletic trainer, and this year she's currently an athletic trainer for the boys soccer team. She's able to be a part of that journey as they look to make a deep run in the UIL playoffs here, as my name is Joey Gonzalez here doing the commentary for this afternoon. She was the area sports medicine competition. She placed 3rd in 2019, 1st in 2020, state qualified for the sports medicine competition, was a varsity football trainer and a varsity men's soccer trainer for the past 2 years. She has over 750 hours in sports medicine, so great to see that from her. As now we send it back down to the stage to Coach Johnston for Abilene Christian University commit Jackson Andrews.
She's a rock, man. She takes care of herself. She does so much for Clemens High School that and she does not like to be in the spotlight. She does not like to be talked about. She's like, don't say nothing, please don't introduce me, but you do not know who she is. If you ever, she is willing to help and go above and beyond. If not, we'll make it work. you know, when we get to this point and we're getting ready to sign the scholarship to move on and play at the next level, you know, I try not to get emotional about my players, you know, but when you're around people and around kids, you know, the hours that we put in with them in meetings and practice and after school and weights, and you just have this special bond, and you're super proud. I'm super proud of Jackson and his accomplishments going to Abilene Christian. And at the end of his sophomore year, I don't know if his mom remembers, she asked to have a meeting with me, which you guys all know that I have an open door policy. And when I say open door policy, if my door's open, you can come to my door anytime. And I will meet with you. And of course, she took me up on that, and she's like, can we meet? And I'm like, well, okay, here we go. And how does Jax get to play Division I football? And I said, he needs to get bigger. And he was starting for us as a sophomore. Jack's a 3-year starter. He was all-state, all-city. Jack's tons of pancakes. Probably the only time I yelled at Jax was at practice, and it wasn't because of lack of hustle. I was yelling at Jax because he would not stop killing people, and I'm like, Jax, Coach Moore would say, all right, we're going to go 3/4 speed, nice and easy on the bags. And they said, no, I got a guy holding the bag, it's on his back. And I'm like, oh my God, Jax, stop! But he don't know that. He don't know. All he knows is when the ball snapped is to go 100 miles an hour. And that's where he is today. And he was a skinny, started for us as a sophomore, real skinny, slim, and now he's 330 pounds, and it was okay, 320, 10, okay, we'll go 300. We'll go 300. Quarantine, 330, we got him to 300, so we're good. But I can't tell you how proud we are of him, and the work that he's put in, and the time and dedication, and the stuff he had to go through to, you know, they were scared to even consider Jackson because they hadn't ever seen him in person, and we did all these crazy videos, and we were on the field, and it was nuts, and I'm sitting there, but people were like, what are they doing? And, but it was a good time, and Jackson's one of the reasons why we've been successful. And he never, ever, I don't ever see him in a bad mood, or, he gets mad, but he's the nicest guy off the field. Everyone here that knows, and Drew's over there shaking his head, yes. You would never know that he's probably the meanest guy on the field. You know what I mean? He probably talks the most and gets mad and crazy, but you would never guess it. And that's kind of what they look for. But anyway, we want to thank you for everything. I know your mom's super proud. We've come a long ways. And yes, and you know that this is home. And whatever you need, even when you're gone, that we're going to love you, we're going to follow you, and we're here for you and your mom as we get going into the next chapter. It's not the end, we're just starting a new chapter. So we love you. Let's go ahead and sign the paper and some pictures.
So congratulations to Jax Andrews going to Abilene Christian University, home of the Wildcats, located in Abilene, Texas. Enrollment 5,293. Back in 2019, their class NCAA Division I in the Southland Conference. As Jackson Andrews was here we go as we get the stats here. He was a 3-year starter on varsity, second team all-district sophomore, first team all-district junior and senior, 2019 all-state team, and 2020 all-San Antonio team. Congratulations to Jax as Coach Johnson hit hit right on spot. Not the end, but start of a new chapter as we get ready for the next one of Andrew Edwards, also going to Abilene Christian University, so he'll continue his academic career with his former offensive lineman of Jax Andrews. So we will send it back up to Coach Johnston.
We're good? Awesome. Drew Edwards, everybody. Hey, let me tell you, I know Drew's probably right now wondering, I wish you could see the smile. I can see him. You know, I'm not going to say anything that embarrasses you, Drew. I'm not going to talk about the hospital visit. When you were, I guess he was pretty drugged up. But one of the proudest moments, this is the truth. 25 years of coaching. One of the proudest moments is when I walked in and Drew's laying in the bed and he looks at me and he says, "My dog," and he gives me a high. Because if the truth comes out when you're drugged up like that, it could have been really bad, you know. But I can tell you what, guys, I could sit up here. You think I could ramble about Drew Edwards for a long, long time. Here's what I will tell you about Drew. Drew was a 3-year starter for us, all district receiver as a junior, unanimous first team all district this year. He was the only receiver in our district, and everybody knows about our district. I don't have to school you up on that one. But when every single head coach, when you're the only player that every single head coach says you deserve your first team all district, that's saying something in our district. And Drew was a first team unanimous all district pick. Played in the All-Star game here in San Antonio last weekend, and I tell myself I'm not getting emotional, so I'm not going to get emotional, Drew, but we love him. And he is he's up there with probably the toughest players I've ever coached. And there's not if you're a varsity football player at Clemens High School, or you're a coach at Clemens High School, you can't argue that. Because I saw the kid play as a junior to help us win a district championship that we hadn't done in, I don't know how many years, 14 years or whatever it was. But, you know, during that year he had to have medical, it got hurt and all kinds of stuff, had that surgery, but he played the game hurt. And I thought the season was done. And he comes in, so I know he's clear to play Judson. And he's like, "Coach, I'm clear to play." I'm like, "You haven't ran in 4 weeks." He's like, "I'm playing." I said, "Yes, you are." He's like, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, you're going to be our holder." And so he was so bad at me holding. But, you know, we get in the playoffs, he scores touchdowns in the Alamo Dome, and just goes on and has a tremendous career. I would rank him in the top 4 receivers that I've ever coached in my life. And he's right there with all 4 of them. I can't say who's the best because they all have a different trait, but I can tell you he's in my top 4 ever to play the game. And what he did special teams wise for us, you know, when they won't kick you the ball, Judson and Still are super duper fast. And this year nobody kicked the football. And that tells you a lot when schools like that are kicking away from you. That just tells you the respect you have for everybody. But we want to wish you the best of luck going to Abilene Christian. I've told you this before. Whatever you decide to do in your life, you're going to be successful. 100% positive on that. Keep grinding. I'm super proud of you. Do I say this story? I'm going to say it, but I'll just speak for myself. I get a lot of questions sometimes. They ask me, it's like, everyone knows that Dr. Edwards is our deputy superintendent. Everyone always asks me, "Man, how is it to coach like the deputy superintendent's son. How much pressure is that? I'm like, nah, he's a stud. It's easy. You know what I mean? So, I mean, everyone thinks that it's not, and but it's easy. When you have a player as talented as Drew is, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. So, but he's been more than, thank you, Dr. Edwards, for everything and being supportive. I have to say that because, Drew, you've earned everything you ever got here at Clemens High School. You're a great kid. We love you. We're going to miss you. Your brother will be bigger than you, but he will. That's our goal. That's our goal. But let's go ahead and sign away and let's take some pictures.
So there it is. Once again, Andrew Edwards is the second Buffalo to make an appearance at Abilene Christian University this upcoming fall semester. As we take a look at Andrew Edwards' stats on the year. As he was a 3-year starter, he had 1,168 receiving yards with 11 touchdowns throughout high school. He was a unanimous all-district, and as Coach Johnson mentioned, a very tough district. All the coaches gave the nod for that, so all-district for senior year. And then a 2021 All-Star Game participant this past Saturday, all-district his junior year. So some big stats here from Andrew Edwards. And now the next one coming up onto the stage is quarterback/safety Max DiDomenico, who's going to Tyler Junior College. So we will send it back up to the stage to Coach Johnson. Here we go.
Just like all the players before him, we could be here for a long, long, long time if I sat here and talked about stats. And all the stats that he's done and all the stuff, and this many yards and this many yards and this many yards, but we know the stats. We've been here with Max for 4 years. We know what he can do when it comes to stats. You know, he was the district offensive MVP last year, 2019. He was the impact player of the year in our district this year. And the impact player, so those of you who may not know what an impact player is, basically it's the player that impacts the team the most. And what Max did for us as a quarterback, as sometimes our punter, whatever we needed to do, or get the ball on an onside kick, I mean, whatever he could do for us, he did. That's how you kind of get dominated. It's almost one of those things like, if you didn't have this player, you wouldn't win any games. And that's what you voted on, and that's what the impact player is. So when you get voted the impact player, you know, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty much Max. So, you know, we got to give Max and his teammates a ton of credit for what they've done. What impresses me the most about Max is his in his freshman year, I guess, or going into the spring of his freshman year, that's what it was, right? We felt like we had a quarterback that was going to be a junior, and that was going to be our guy. And I knew Max was too athletic to not be on the varsity, so I called him in the office, we talked to him, said, "You're going to defense." Coach Langell was super happy. He went to be safety. And he just said, "Yes, sir, I'll do whatever it takes to help this team win." So he goes to defense. And he never does anything offensively at all. We go through the whole summer, we go through the first 3 ball games. And he's returning kicks, punts, has a scoop and score versus Madison, playing lights out on defense. We're winning ball games. But we're not getting what we needed to get done offensively. We needed an offensive staff. We call Max in on Monday morning and tell him you're going to be our starting quarterback Friday versus Smith Valley. This is not a tryout. You're going to be starting quarterback. This is it. You better get ready to roll. He says, yes, sir. Coach Gale starts crying. Coach Motors are getting happy. And has not taken a snap at quarterback since a freshman football game. We get him ready Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday he takes a quarterback test, makes 100. And goes out and rushes for 200 and throws for 200 and scores 5 touchdowns versus Smith Valley, and the rest, he becomes Max Domenico, Clemens' quarterback. And that was his sophomore year. And he's been leading us ever since. And what I can tell you is, he'll do whatever you ask him to do. He did not want to be a punter this year. He had a punt for us sometimes. He did not want to do it, but he did it. He'll do whatever you ask him to do. He will be heading to top junior college to play. I can tell you what the junior college is going to do for Max. Max is going to go to Tyler, and I believe we're set on playing defense, correct? He's going to go and train all summer at defensive back. He's going to go to Tyler, and he's going to go be a stud, and then he's going to go on and play Division I football. And we know that anything that he puts his mind to, he can be successful at. But we owe you a lot as a coaching staff. You guys make us look good, and I know that. We're as good as some of our kids, and we don't know all the answers, and we make wrong calls. And I know y'all tell me all the time in the stands, and I'm joking, but there's a lot of times that you guys cover our butts and make plays for us, and we're as grateful for you and all you guys that are up there and down here signing. We couldn't do it without you. We're going to miss you. We love you. And, I do. I remember you in 8th grade triple jumping, and I'm like, okay, this guy's going to be special one day. And sure enough, you were. So we wish you the best of luck. We got to watch him in the All-Star game on Saturday. He played defense, had an interception, could have won some money. He would have intercepted the ball and high-stepped into the end zone. Frank Harris, I was sitting with Frank Harris and a bunch of ex-Clemens football players, and his brother was one of them, and they told him everybody would give him $60 if he high-stepped it into the end zone during the All-Star game. And he had a chance to have been over the referee. Smoked him. He said that hit hurt worse than any hit he had all year long. He said his neck was killing him after that collision, but played lights out the All-Star game as well. So that's just a taste of what's getting to happen in your life. We wish you the best of luck. Let's take some pictures. Let's sign the paper, and we love you.
So congratulations to Max Domenico going to Tyler Junior College, located in Tyler, Texas, with an enrollment of 10,106 in the class NJCAA, the National Junior College. As we look at some of the stats from throughout his time here at Samuel Clemens High School, as Coach Johnson mentioned at the beginning, freshman year started on the freshman team and then advanced on to varsity later that spring, where he played on defense to start that season. And then when they played Smithson Valley, he moved to quarterback. And ever since then, he had 2,776 yards rushing, 36 touchdowns, with 3,845 yards passing, 38 touchdowns. The 2019 district MVP, All-State and All-San Antonio for 2019, and then the 2020 Impact Player of the District. As they mentioned, his quarterback play, punting, and defensive ability. So now we send it up to the front stage. Caden Olivia.
The reason I say that is Caden will be attending Texas State and as a deep snapper. And what I'm excited about, and I'm taking a picture with all three of these guys. Guys, I finished my 9th year as the head coach at Clemens High School. 8 of the 9 years, the only person who's ever deep snapped a football has been in Olivia. His 2 older brothers who are deep snappers, and then him. So you think about every snap in 8 years, that's a ton. It's a ton. And it's been made by Olivia. I was just praying. Mom was teasing me, and she had one more son coming up. She's saying no. But I just, 100% snapping, on the money. Only certain people could ever hold over him because he snaps so fast and so hard. Drew was one of them. And Drew's sitting there smiling there that he can spin it. It's amazing. We go into a game, we lose our starting punter. The next week we're going to have a JV punter kick. Where's Max? I think Max is up there. Max is going to, so we're getting ready to play the Broncos. So I told Max, I said, you got to get snapped with Olivia. And Olivia tells Max, where do you want the football? And he's like, what? He's like, what leg, what part of the body, where you want it? Max looks at me, no, he's serious. And Max is like, I want it here. He goes, okay, bam. And that's what it was. And that's how it's been. These guys come the first 20 minutes of practice, and then they're free to go home. And he'll stand over he gets over there by the goalpost, and he snaps and snaps and snaps and snaps and hits it, and he'll back up 16 yards and just hit the goalpost. Bam, bam, bam. This is amazing. He's going to be, he has a chance. Continue to work, continue to believe. He has a chance to snap even further beyond college. It looks easy, but trust me, I'm more worried. Do not take this the wrong way. I'm more worried about who's going to be our deep next year and who's going to replace Max at quarterback, because it's such a big deal. I've had someone like these 3 young men here that you never had to worry. Never. And now I'm like, oh man. So, now we got a lot of pressure on Coach Mulder. You put a lot of pressure on Coach Mulder because we cannot punt Coach Mulder. Right now we don't have a deep snapper. So we just need first downs. And that's it. So, but man, we love you. I'm going to miss you. I'm glad to see your brothers. It's a neat deal. You're going to go to Texas State and compete. I think they have one two deep snappers, one deep snapper on the roster. And if I was that deep snapper, I'd be really worried that this guy's coming in the fall because he's going to outwork me. And he lives in the weight room. He's a student of the game. And just an overall tremendous athlete, grades. He even thought about, just in case he applied to Alabama and got in, he was like, I just applied in because again, I got in Alabama. I mean, it's just in case he ended up somewhere like Alabama. But we're going to go to Texas State, we're going to go eat them up cats. Mom's going to be a lot closer now, so you can go watch your brothers and everybody, and we're going to miss you. And I can tell you, our first ball game, I'm going to be a nervous wreck. Just because it's been 8 years of never having to worry about special teams, punting, or field goals. So, anyway, we're going to go ahead and sign this paper. We're going to take some pictures, and let's go be a Texas State Wildcat and go represent.
So congratulations to Kate and Olivia attending Texas State University. The Bobcats is a mascot up there in San Marcos, Texas. enrollment of 38,808. I believe that's the biggest enrollment in signing day in the upcoming days. Texas State is located in NCAA Division One in the Sun Belt Conference. As we will look here at the stats for Caden Olivia, 3-year starter, 0 missed snaps while on varsity. He was ranked number 1 in the state for long snapping, ranked 7 nationally by Coles kicking and snapping, and he was a 2019 academic all-district. As and as Coach Johnston mentioned, 8 out of the 9 years the long snapper has been in Olivia. You saw his 3 brothers, or his 2 brothers up there on stage. He's the last Olivia in the family. So, yeah, that's going to be one thing to watch for next year for Clemens football as they look to find a new long snapper, Caden Olivia. We might have a chance to interview him here in a little bit, as maybe he'll be able to tell us a little bit about the technique and something about that. So big things to come for those Clemens Buffaloes here as we're back here on the Clemens Broadcasting Network. My name is Joe Gonzalez here doing the signing day this afternoon, our third of the day. The signees for this period were Max Domenico, Andrew Edwards, Jax Andrews, Caden Olivia, and Emily Smith, the athletic trainer for the Clemens Buffaloes. So we'll read through some of the things again. Once again, Max Domenico passed for 3,845 yards, 38 touchdowns, rushed for 2,776 yards and 36 touchdowns. He will be moving to defense over at Tyler Junior College. He was all-district sophomore year, and biggest thing to mention here is he was the impact player of the district for 2020. Meanwhile, Andrew Edwards was on the receiving end of Max Domenico's throws, accounted for 1,168 yards with 11 touchdowns. Is all-district junior and unanimous all-district senior year. Coach Johnston mentioned that no team wanted to kick to him off the kickoff, so that's one thing that I don't know if you would or wouldn't, but if he wants to return them, that's not a good thing for the other teams. They wouldn't want to kick to him. Had a lot of those pooch kicks throughout the season that would go to about the 40, 35-yard line, to where Clemens would have a chance. That would set up opportunities for Max Domenico to go up on offense all season long and produce good offensive drives. And then for Jax Andrews, he was the one protecting Max Domenico, 3-year starter, second team all-district as sophomore, first team all-district junior and senior year, all-state team last year, and all San Antonio this year. And then meanwhile, we go to the last member of the Clemens football team, Caden Olivia. Mentioned 0 missed snaps in his 3-year career as a starting long snapper. Had 2 older brothers, and out of the past 9 years, 8 of them have been a long snapping from an Olivia, as he's the last of the 3 brothers. So it's going to be interesting to see how Clemens football adapts, and in order to find a new long snapper in the near future. And then Emily Smith, the athletic trainer for your host member, tier student athletic trainer, and she's the varsity athletic trainer for men's soccer, and she plans to study orthopedics in the near future. And then also she some things they want to mention, a T-Bar M coach over in New Braunfels, Texas, as she interacted with led and disciplined a group of 10 to 14-year-old girls, also 6 to 12-year-olds, and encourage children to stay beyond their comfort zones in order to be comfortable with their mentally, physically, and spiritually. As good to see from Emily Smith, also as a mathnasium instructor in 2020, taught children the basic concepts of math and construction's teaching principles. Also does a lot of work around the church, as currently this year she is the Fellowship of Christian Athletes president for 2021 school year. Last year in 2019-20, she was the vice president, and then in 2018-19, she was sophomore representative. So in her time here at Samuel Clemens High School, she's found ways to work around the beliefs there around the school, as also they're mentioned with HOSA going into the competition there for HOSA for sports medicine, where she got first in 2020 for that sports medicine competition. She also did varsity football for all 4 years, or for 2 years. 2 years for men's soccer, 750 plus hours in sports medicine. So a lot of time and dedication put by Emily Smith into this Clemens athletic programs, along with bettering herself outside of Clemens here. So we could get a possible interview here. We'll be back in about a minute here to see if we can get interviews. As before we take that quick break, here is the rest of the schedule for today. As here it is. So 8:50 we saw Haven Harrison commit to the University of Kansas. Christabel Thompson going to Louisiana Tech, the Bulldogs, and then Darwin Hall for wrestling. And then at 11:30 we saw Canada Buchanan sign for University of A&M Kingsville. And then at at the 12:20, which is the time slot we're in right now, we saw Emily Smith, Jackson Andrews, Max DiDomenico, Andrew Edwards, and Caden Olivia sign. And then at 3:35, we will have Jake Beltran and Brett Gray representing Clemens Golf, Jillian Jones, Christine Moreno, and Sydney Norton, and Kelsey Sample representing softball, and then James Starr representing baseball. So we will be back in a minute here on the Clemens Broadcasting Network. Don't go anywhere. We're back here on the Clemens Broadcasting Network as we get ready to sign off for the period. Just a great day to see a lot of these athletes advancing to their next future chapter in college. As we had a couple of D1 athletes today, Max DiDomenico go to a junior college to further his playing career, and then possibly go D1 as a transfer later in the year or later in the future. As we've seen players like that before. Notable mentions is defensive end Jason Pierre-Paul for the Buccaneers, who's playing in the Super Bowl this weekend, is a former junior college athlete. So it would be good to see Max DiDomenico get used to that college atmosphere, and then possibly transfer that into the future and going D1, and then possibly maybe even taking that further into the future, along with Caden Olivia as a real good long snapper, only one at Texas State at the moment, so he could take that varsity spot in the next coming years, and then if he has the opportunity to take that into the future and take that into the pros. So we will see here, as a lot of good Buffaloes here signing today. Caden Olivia and Haven Harrison, possibly the two standouts here that will look to further their playing possibly into a professional career later on in the future. As we get ready to sign off here once again, one last time, the signees: Max DiDomenico, Tyler Junior College, Andrew Edwards, Abilene Christian University, Jackson Andrews, Abilene Christian University, Kate and Olivia at Texas State University up there in San Marcos, and Emily Smith for Dallas Baptist University, as those were the signees for this period, as we got the one more coming up at 3:35 for golf, softball and baseball, as those are the final signees of the day here. So as we sign off until 3:35.